It's acres and move makers.
It's acres and move makers.
I deal with land flippers, acres and move makers, room shakers, big boys with huge paper, the newspapers. You can run but can't escape us. We winning with these flash green when they act racist. Success is so contagious. Let's go.
It's acres and move makers.
Welcome to Acres and Move Makers. My name is Ray.
My name is Jay.
And we are
Acre Boys.
Today we want to talk to you about one of my favorite subjects, and that is consistency is the key.
Now, for sure, what works without consistency? And the answer is nothing. Whether you be in a personal relationship or you're inside of a business or whatever the case may be, the number one factor and the key thing that's going to make you successful inside of that business is consistency. Now, here's where the true measure of a man is made, right? The true measure of a man is made when you're actually doing something and it appears that it's not working, right? But based off of what you know, if you understand how valuable consistency is, whether what's going on or not going on from a visual standpoint, you keep on doing the same thing over and over again. They said the mother of all learning is repetition. Repetition, our consistency, our cousins, if not brothers. So let's just talk from a business perspective, right? If I'm first start a business, right, and I don't really know what I'm doing, I'm just going through the rigmarole, just doing what I do as far as in the business, right? And I'm going on from step to step in the process, right? The only thing that's going to make that particular business grow is the consistency, because in consistency, what happens? You start to learn a lot of things. You start to learn the ins and outs. Maybe if you're dealing with products or whatever the case may be, you start to, all right, what's the number that usually sells well? If you're dealing with social media content, in what way do I have to position the camera? And how does this have to look in order to, which way does my audience like for that message to be conveyed? And just like what we're talking about with what we're doing right now, we started on Instagram doing this, right? We first started with doing one post a day, right? One post a day, which was cool for that period of time. But we had some talks with some guys, some good friends of ours. They told us, you know, it would probably be better if you went to 2 times a day. Once we went to 2 times a day, we saw a real influx inside of our movement and inside of what we were doing, because now what are you doing? You give them the people more content to actually chew on. And when they chew on that content on a consistent basis, you start to become more popular, more popular. But what if we would have stayed at 1 piece of content a day? We wouldn't have had the same numbers that we had right now. And I'm telling y'all, it's one thing for somebody to tell y'all to be consistent. It's a whole nother thing for you to actually do it, right? Because here's what happens, right? Every day is not the same day. You may have a bad day prior to, you may wake up and be in a funk, but the true measure of a man or a woman is made when they don't feel like doing something. You see, when you feel like doing something, it's easy to do it because you feel like doing it. But what happens when you have a bad day? You might have had an argument with your spouse, your kids, mother, whatever the case may be. Are you that kind of person that has that intestinal fortitude that's going to do it anyway? So that's where I'm at with consistency.
Consistency, right? This has been quite a journey for ourselves as the Acre Boys, right? But the one thing that has been our saving grace has been that we've been extremely consistent. Once we came on, let's start where we started with land investing, right? We wouldn't be here 7, 8 years later if we wasn't consistent in what we was doing.
Right.
We first got some belief. Once we start believing in what we was doing, then we started to just rinse and repeat and be consistent in the process of going about being the best land investors that we can possibly be. So this is how 7 years later, we're still here, and we just consistently went higher and higher and higher, right? What happens is it builds up that discipline muscle, being consistent. Because if you do anything over a certain period of time, it builds up discipline, right? Discipline and consistency, they're like first cousins. They're closely related. So you have to be consistent. As Jay stated, even when you don't feel like doing the thing, get your body and get your mind to be convinced that this is something that just like you convince yourself or trained yourself that my body needs food on a daily basis, your mind needs to do a certain thing for you to be successful whatever that is, whatever industry is. You have to be consistent to be successful. We're around a lot of successful people that's doing things on a high level, and they all share the same principles: discipline, consistency. Those two things, you'll never hear somebody that has done something on a high level. You'll never hear them speak about being undisciplined and not being consistent in the thing that they do. So how do we take an Instagram channel and grow a channel from 0 followers organically, 0 followers, to almost 100,000 followers in 1 year? By being consistent, right? We started with 1 post a day. We moved to 2 posts a day. And we did that for 365 days. Not 362, not 363. There wasn't a day where we said, well, today, and there was days where we just didn't want to do a post.
Or feel like talking.
There was days.
Right.
But nevertheless, we found something to put up as a post. And that consistency is what happens over time. See, people, once you set an expectation, right? And people start to expect things from you. So now you have built up this expectation from your audience. You have to feed them, right? You have to continue to feed them. And that's business. You won't find a major brand that's not consistent. You don't see Nike taking a day off. You don't see Coca-Cola taking a day off. You don't see nobody that's doing anything on a high level that say, well, I'm going to take a day off today. And if they do take a vacation, they have things set in place that keeps the machine going effortlessly, as if they was there. So consistency is going to be the key, whether you're land investing. We're always saying land investing. If you're inconsistent with your investing, your money is going to be inconsistent. Actual fact. If you're consistent with doing the thing, there will become a flow. There will become a flow of your money coming in. When we talk about tax deed investing, if you're inconsistent with staying at the auction and bidding on things, once you become inconsistent, your money, there's going to be a break in the money that you receive. If you're inconsistent with mailing, you could be on cloud 9 on 1 month. The next month, if you stop with your mailings, there's a possibility that your money is going to slow down. And that works. Other thing that we find is that all business is the same. Everything is all done the same way, whether that's going to the gym. Stop going to the gym and restart. Let's see if your muscles react the same as they did when you were in a flow.
Push that car back uphill. Try it.
Promise you it won't. So consistency is the key to all things that we're doing. Right now, we're growing this YouTube channel as we speak. Check back in from this date to next year. When next year gets here, God willing, we're still here and we're still doing these things. Check the amount of subscribers and check the amount of views next year as opposed to this year. I promise you that it'll be up because we're being consistent, right? We're consistently bringing as much value as we possibly can. And that is the key. That's my take on consistent. If you don't take anything else from this channel, whatever that you're involved in, right? Even when you feel like you're not even getting the results, just be consistent, because what they say, you're one no away from that yes.
For sure. That's for sure. And consistency, y'all, is an invisible muscle. It's not a physical muscle. We're talking about, spirituality too. That muscle that you're building that you don't actually see being formed is being formed inside of you.